All right. So welcome to the 2017 Rookie Conference call. So this is week 2 of the season. So we'll start going through the agenda. All
right.
Yep.
So tonight we're going to be covering a few things. We're going to be talking about if you don't have your moving chassis going, what you can do to fix that. Production of your manipulator, which we talked a little bit about last week. We're going to do a little bit more this week. Going beyond default code to get your driver station working. Bumpers. Then we'll talk about team logo, team uniforms, and a couple of awards that you can be applying for. Okay, a basic general agenda for tonight. If you have any questions that are related to the topic that we're talking about, feel free to go ahead and unmute your line and ask your question. We'll do our best to answer it. And at the end of the call, we will open it up for question and answer about anything that you guys have questions about. So other people that are on your team that you want to join this join the email list for this call, please feel free to click the link that's at the top of the notes each week. Each week at the bottom of the notes will be links to previous week's calls. So if you have any questions about stuff we've already discussed, you can go ahead and look through those. All right, so if you have a moving, wired, programmed kit parts chassis, at least that is legal within the frame perimeter volume, you have a problem. We are officially about halfway through build season right now, which is kind of scary, I know. If you don't have at least a moving chassis going that's within the size, you need to send us an email so that we can find someone to help you. If you're north, we'll find somebody. If you're south, we'll find somebody. If you're in the mid-Michigan area, 337 will help you. So we will find one to help you. Jace, do you have anything to add to this for people down in your area?
Yes, like Brandy said, if anybody hasn't been able to get their kit apart chassis up and running yet, let Brandy know or myself know, and we'll try to get you help and get you up and running. So we're
Jason,
scenario.
You're down in Oakland County.
We're pretty portable, so if there's an issue, I can.
Wonderful.
Anybody on the line have their chassis moving yet, I guess? I know he did. How is yours coming, Dan?
Being based off the build Sunday.
Okay. You might need to measure that with your bumpers on and make sure that you fit in the per Clint. You want to unmute and talk up to Dan about what he needs to do to get that done from our workshop.
We have a Sunday workshop here, or we will be on it Sunday from 1 to 4 here at school.
Okay.
And now I asked some question about the bumpers. Do you want me to ask them now or wait till you go through the bumper section?
Should we go through the bumper section? That way we can make sure we get everything, we don't miss anything.
We answer them anyway, so.
Yeah, he's usually pretty thorough about his bumper. I think we might have lost him. He might have disconnected.
What question again? Sorry, Brandy.
Okay. Dan is on the line. He was at our workshop. He has not cut his robot yet. Can you give a little bit of...
This is for not only him, but every rookie. This will be probably the number one reason I would say that people won't pass inspections. It's going to greatly affect your robot. If you cannot, fit within the G4 rule, the volume. So everything on your robot has to fit within that volume A or volume B, including your bumpers. So to look at bumpers around your robot, I forget what the rule section on that is, but typically a bumper is about 3¼ inches wide. So you have to consider that 6½ inches be added to your robot on your length and your width. So make sure you stay within that. The best thing to do would be is a sample bumper, even if it's just a 3/4 inch piece of plywood and 2 pool noodles, and put that outside of your kit apart chassis and measure across to make sure you fit in one of those volumes. I don't remember what the length is to do the stack up of it, but I think you have to at least take off, and I think it's like 2 inches to get you to the cap 3 inches.
3. If you narrow it up 3 inches so you don't have to cut the wheelbase down, that's what we did to make it simple. Then did 24 inches tall.
A where it can be 24 inches tall by 36 by 40. So I don't know if that answers the question. Just make sure they fit in that volume, because if you do your first event and you don't fit in that volume, you will not pass inspection, and you're going to have to cut your robot and shrink it, and by the time all the other stuff that you've designed probably work like you thought it was.
It's very, very strict. If you're over by like 1/8 of an inch, they not let you pass inspection. Like, I know teams that had to take like head screws out of the side of their robot and change them to flat head screws because they were over by that much. So, you guys are paying very close attention to it. So, all right, I'm glad that both of you guys at least have something up and moving. If you guys need help, just let us know. So, you're shooting the testing and prototyping phase and moving toward production versions of your game piece manipulator. We talked a lot last week about the different things that you can do, the different game pieces you can manipulate, the different ways that you can score those game pieces. Please make sure that if you have questions on that, you're going to take a look at last week's notes, because we don't have enough time to spend on that this week. But you should really be moving to whatever you're going to put on the field and making sure that that also will pass inspection. Clint, Jason, on that?
I'm all set.
All right, this is going to be where Jason and Clint take over, because I don't know anything about this. Going to be on default code, what to do next. Controllers, sticks, systems you need to control, and your driver station.
Yes, typically we have 2 drivers. We have one driver that drives our chassis or the wheel structure using joysticks, and another driver that uses the gamepad, looks like Xbox or PlayStation joystick, to control like emulators and any other auxiliary functions. That's how we kind of set up our control system. I know other teams just use the gamepad type controllers. So again, they look like either a PlayStation or an Xbox controller. And then you can map certain buttons to certain functions in your code. Do you know which ones came in the kit by default? I didn't throw the rookie kit up.
The
gamepad,
Xbox controller, and a joystick.
I'm with both.
Okay.
Additional suggestion is to have your driver have the Xbox controller. That way they can actually move around in the driver station. So I don't know if the line of sights are bad this season, which they are. They can move around and get maybe a better sight to the robot if they need to. Whereas joystick is going to have to be physically within arm's reach of that joystick.
Not to say that you can't go to Walmart or whatever and buy another Xbox controller if you want to use 2 Xbox controllers. You guys can do that. We put link in the notes to that section of the manual for operator interface. You probably hear it called 2 different things. You'll probably either hear it called the driver station or operator interface. terms are used pretty much interchangeably within the FIRST communities. But one thing that you guys are going to want to make sure that you do with your, whatever you're going to use, whether you're just taking your laptop or you're going to build a box for it to go in or a piece of plywood for it to hold on to, is put though on the bottom. In the rules, it explains, I remember Clint, is it hook or loop, or Jason, is it hook or loop? That's at the driver's station.
I'm not sure.
The
Forget
rules.
to
Either
do it.
way,
I know that
one
better.
side,
I think it's
She's closer.
I think it's loop. I think on the loop is on the field, and I think hook is on the controller.
so the reason for this is there'll be robots who drive, especially this year with the craziness of this, who drive into the Alliance Station wall, and your controllers will fall, and your computer will crash unless you Velcro down. So you guys need to, I implore you to read the rules and find out what you should do in order to secure your computer to driver's station. Very important. It's false. It's bad. I know teams who have broken computers and controllers because they've fallen off the driver's station matches or during Auton. I really hope it's not falling off during Auton. That means somebody's getting a big penalty or someone made a robot go the wrong direction. Yes.
I mean, during autonomous, it shouldn't be as bad this season because the robots that you're instructed in front of is in front of you. However, it can even be your alliance partners that you know drive the wrong direction or something like that. It's bad because most people are going to start against that wall. It only be that they shot out and then shot back. Like I said, just having the Velcro on there is going to help you out, so that you don't worry about it.
And your match, especially if you're especially if you're just taking your classmate thing, it could get bumped or hit. So just be smart and do it. Clint, Jason, do you guys want to talk a little bit about teams who are going to have dumper arms or those kind of things, how you assign buttons to that? We have a tutorial on Team 2037's website that can help you with that, but how to get your working if you have a chute or a dumper or a picker up or a roller or whatever.
I mean, there's not any way to tell you over the phone that. I mean, you're going to have to follow the tutorials for whatever programming language you're working in, whether it's Ladu or Java or C++. There's instructions to show you how to pick what USB and what joystick and what button on that joystick is pressed. Attached to some kind of command. So that's going to move your program.
So we're not going to walk through step by step for you guys how to program your robot, how to program your joystick. There are an infinite number of tutorials out there. We encourage you to take advantage of those. And because there's a lot of people in the FIRST community who want to help. However, if that is in the rules, or you could have Googled, or that you could have looked at a tutorial before you call someone, just try to do that. Be respectful of their time. A lot of the people, Clinton, myself, and Jason included, we have teams, a lot of teams. So if you guys can be respectful of our time and the time that you go to other teams with, and do your research first, they will be thankful for that. So take some familiarize yourself with a few tutorials. Okay. Clint, do you want to get into bumpers?
We talked about bumpers earlier. You just make sure you follow the rules. I mean, the big key points is that it has to be designed exactly like they explain in the rules. So use a 3/4 inch piece of plywood. that's 5 tall, and 2 round or hexagonal-shaped pool noodles that are about 2.5 inches each in diameter. And you wrap it in cloth that should not be able to be ripped. Now, that cloth, you're going to want it to be a blue red, depending on what alliance you're on. Rookie will get material with a coupon code via Robo Promo. So in kit, you should have information about how to redeem from Robo Promo. They're actually in Michigan on the west side of the state. Follow those instructions. The other big key component is you need to make sure that you have 6 inches of bumper on every corner. This is kind of the hardest part to understand when doing bumpers. If you imagine you took a string and you wrapped it completely around your frame that you have in the bumper zone, which is between 0 and 7 inches off the ground, wherever the rope kind of spans off, that is the design, that is your frame perimeter, and that's where your bumpers need to be attached. So take a typical kit-apart chassis, you're going to have 4 corners on that. If you take a kit-apart chassis and you make it a U-shaped chassis where you have an opening in the front for intaking balls or something like that, you still have only 4 corners, but opening can only be, have to have a frame perimeter from that corner at least 6 inches. So your total opening is going to be 12 inches shorter than the width of your chassis because 6 on the left side and 6 on the right. Any questions on that?
There are pages of bumper rules, by the way. It starts on page 72 and goes through page 78 in manual. So, I mean, you got to get the amount of time that they're spending out of a 150-page manual. They're spending 6 pages on bumpers. You have to know that it's important, and you have to know that you do it right.
I worked as
I think on the net where they make one that's got it's made into a flap with Velcro, so you can use it for both colors. Have you seen those? And are those I assume they're legal?
Yep. Some way to switch the colors.
Legal. You have to ensure that the way you attach it, you got to make sure it's done well, because in a match, if some referees could say that once you're supposed to be on the red team and they see blue because it gets caught and flipped around, they might do something to say that you're not within the bumper rules. But lots of teams, I think actually Team Rush actually uses the flippable.
And
we have snaps. Snaps along the top edge and snaps along the bottom edge, and they just wrap around. So like we're always blue bumpers, and then we have a red cover that goes over it. So we take our bumpers off.
7 does the opposite. We create 2 full sets of bumpers, and we switch them every match that we have to change alliances.
Right. Oh, you're only allowed to have numbers on them bumpers, as far as I can tell. No team name, no logos or anything.
And the team number, there's actually specification in the rules to help tell you how thick each number has to be and how tall each number has to be. So you have to make sure you abide by that, and that you abide by, I think it has to be, ironed in white, I think is what it is. But most teams, the default is just to have a single white number with no other colors. There's companies that don't do that, but the most effective way there are. Robo Promo also sells iron-on, where you can actually iron them onto your bumpers as long as you follow their instructions on our school. You should apply them, and they should last you all season.
I have a vinyl cutter, and I can buy heat transfer vinyl that lasts over. Yeah.
Yep.
Same thing they're selling, probably.
Yeah, that'll be great for the bumpers then. So, and just a little suggestion when you're doing it, is like a little tip, is actually take the bumper, instead of having it on center line of your bumpers, actually shift it up about a half inch. So it's a little higher. That way it maybe wraps a little bit on the top section of the bumpers, It makes it a little bit easier to see from the audience and stuff like that instead of having it go underneath your bumpers. We usually just kind of lift them just a little bit. That way they're kind of easier to see.
And the bumpers were free to rookies. I did not receive any information in my kit
So
about
the bumper material, in terms of like the cloth goes around the pools and the plywood portion, it should be from Robo Promo and a coupon code, and I think it's in your rookie kit. If not in your rookie kit, it might be on your rookie PIN system where you get that coupon code from your PIN system. We're not rookies, so I don't know exactly where it's at. I just know that was available to all rookies.
Okay.
You like a call at Robo Promo, and he'd probably do his best to help you out because he's a pretty cool guy.
Okay.
So anything in the rules yet, but they did give us those first logos. Were those for the bumper?
The rules do not allow you
In the
to
kit?
put any kind of, you're not allowed to put any kind of logo on bumpers other than the team logo.
Nope. Robot R26. So some white first logos between 4 3/4 inches and 5 1/4 inches, compared to those distributed in the 2017 kit. So those will be on your bumpers. This robot must be able to display red. Where's the Master Alliance color? And then the match, blah, blah, blah. Bumper markings visible when the install a robot other than the following are prohibited. You can put whatever, you can put your team numbers on, which is R27, the loop fastener backed by hard parts of the bumper, and then the solid white first logo. So that's why they give them to us. They want us to put some first logos on our bumpers.
Sounding.
Yep, make it loud. Other thing, too, I was going to mention was that I helped to inspect at Lake Erie State District last year, and I helped out other teams at some of the districts that we attended, and that was by one of the biggest things that kept teams from getting inspected, or inspection was not compliance on the bumper rules, especially the 6-inch rule and the corner bumper construction. So what I mean by corner bumper construction is if you look at the it's combined to R29, and if there's R29 and R30, and R30. So R29, how your wood backboard needs to be constructed, have a gap at corner. Either the corners got to be mitered together, so you form a solid wood corner. One of the boards have to overlap, right? So one of the boards is going to be longer than the other board to overlap and form a solid corner. Thing with your pool noodles, either your pool noodles have to overlap similarly, one longer pool noodle or one longer set of pool noodles on a bumper side than the other that they heat up, or you can miter the bumpers or miter the pool noodles, or you can fill noodles on the wood, but then you have to put a vertical pool noodle in open space in the corner. So a big issue that we had last year with teams not being able to get through inspection. It wasn't just rookies. There was a couple veteran teams too that we helped try to get the proper construction.
Very nice. Then Clinton and Jason, one question that we've received is, can you have an intake that goes over your bumper?
As long as that intake over the bumpers still is within the volume box, and that intake over the bumpers can fit within your frame perimeter at the beginning of the match. But inside your frame perimeter and then articulate out over your bumper line, but as long as that articulated out position your whole robot can still fit in volume, then you're good.
So again, this year you have to start within the frame perimeter of your robot. All mechanisms must be inside your frame perimeter at the match.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Throughout
All right.
throughout the match, really, right? I mean, you can never go outside it.
Play perimeter, but you can't go outside your volume.
You go outside the volume at any given point. You are allowed, I think I talked about this last week, you are allowed to have, let's just say, if you have an intake on one end of your robot that's 10 inches long and it spins out 10 inches outside your bumpers, then you have the same thing on the other side. You are allowed to extend 10 inches out one direction and then bring that in so it's fully within your frame perimeter, or actually you can bring it just to the edge of your bumpers and then extend another 10 inches out the other direction, and volume box will kind of switch and kind of move mid-match. And the way they're going to try to probably find or catch this during a match is if you go through inspection and you have the ability to have an extension out both sides of your robot and it causes you to be outside of your volume restriction, the lead inspector or one of the inspectors will let the head referee know that, Team 337, they can extend out their volume if both arms are extended, and then all the rest are notified so that if during the match Team 2337 extends out both sides, they would get that penalty for being outside their volume during a match. But it is allowed to do that.
Prove maybe in your inspection that when one side's out, the other side can't be out either. Automatically it's kept in, or mechanically it's kept in. They may ask you to prove somehow during your inspection. So be prepared for that if you plan on doing something like that.
Prove on programming wise is kind of interesting because a button that causes you, and neither one is out, but you can also have another button that lets you. So again, I assume that most inspectors are going to say, hey, you have the possibility of this happening, even if it is softwarely programmed not to allow you to do that. I'm going to let the referee know so that they can make their judgment on the field if it ever happens.
Perfect. So once you get your robot moving, which for most might not be for a couple of weeks, but if you've got a moving chassis and you need a place to drive and you're near Flint, Kettering University does have a FIRST Center there that is open for use by appointment. So Bob Nichols will include his email address in here and try to make an appointment to go there. There's usually someone there on the weekends, and there's a full field for you to be able to test drive in your chassis on. I will tell you, if you guys, the first time you drive your chassis is your first match at your first event, you want to reconsider some of your priorities because you might be overextending. You want to be able to practice with your robot before your first match and have your drivers be familiar with how your robot works before your first match. Clint, as a drive coach, rookie team comes to you, or you go to a rookie team in the first match and you're like, all right, what do you guys do? And someone says to you, we don't know, we've never driven our robot. What would advice be to them?
I get a question that you're asking real quick. I was listening.
Why is it important for teams to practice before the match? Because if you go to your first match and they're like, hey, we've never driven our robot before, thing like advice of how to tackle that as a drive coach beforehand.
I think that we would do is hopefully I would talk to you before the match actually starts to try to get people over to the practice field to try it. But try to do something simple. If you never have your robot, try to do simple. Just do a couple things. Don't try to, if your robot's designed to shoot and get gears and do all this, maybe, your first match, if you've never driven it before, make a goal for that match. Say, hey, we're going to one gear. That's our goal out there. We're going to go out there. We're going to get one gear, and we're going to score one gear, and that's what we're going to do. And then each match, try to do better and improve your team and your robot. Too many times in people's first matches, they try to do everything that the robot is designed to do and end up nothing because they get frustrated and none of it works. And then, they get frustrated. It's very easy for the drive teams to have something bad go happen and have it get worse, and have a snowball effect and have the whole match feel like it was horrible because of one little mistake. So getting that practice will get your drivers comfortable with driving the robot, operating it, know how to react, when things go with the robot, what to do in different situations.
And you can all at home before bag day. So to find some time in your build schedule to make that happen. Does anyone have any questions about anything? Dan, did we answer your question about bumpers that you were going to ask earlier?
Yes, I just was going to ask if the bumpers were free to the rookies. But you answered that. So I'll call Mike from RoboPro and let him walk us through that.
Yeah, so okay. I just want to clarify. The material that goes around is what's given in your kit. Wood backing and the pool noodles and the way that you attach physical bumpers to the robot, that is not included in that coupon. Right? So you're just going to get the material or the covering to cover your bumpers with that coupon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like plywood. Plywood, you can get locally at any store. It doesn't have to be anything special. The pool noodles, in Michigan, it might be hard to find some pool noodles at some store or something like that. We buy ours on Amazon or from Andy Mark and get, a bunch of shipped to our apartment, and the U.S. man looks at us very strangely. Why are we ordering pool noodles in the middle of winter?
A case of like 32 of them showed up, and we live on a third floor apartment. And he carries them up and he sits them down. He's like, Brandy, order a case of noodles. And I'm like, well, we're building a robot. He's like, not the answer I was expecting, but okay, here's your noodles. You made it funny. So,
how many noodles should I have? How should I buy?
A noodle is, I want to say it's about 60 inches long-ish. You just know the frame perimeter of your robot and times that by 2. And want to factor a safety of 2 extra noodles just in case something goes wrong with one of them, right?
I think we usually use about 8 or 9 noodles a year.
Okay.
Yeah. I was about to
say.
Yeah. I can go measure. Hold on a minute. Hey, Alexis, go measure me a please. Yeah. I am going to measure one. We'll get this information in a few minutes.
Okay.
And it looks like there's some that are 56, some that are 50 inches, some that are 7 inflated ones. Yeah. So between 56 and 60 inches.
So if
I'm clicking online.
We'll be set.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But if you know your frame perimeter of where your bumpers are going to be, just do that quick calculation to make sure so you don't have to pay a whole other shipping on that, right? So even measure a kit apart chassis if that's what you're using. You take a tape measure all the way around it, whatever that dimension is, times it by 2 for one set of bumpers. If you're going to build 2 sets of bumpers, one red, one blue, you got to double even that number even more to the number of noodles you need.
We do need 2 different colors of
bumper. You need a way to have bumpers and blue bumpers, where you have 2 separate bumpers that you change like a skirt, like take it off the robot and put a new skirt on, or you have a wrap or a cover where you have one color normally and then you wrap it with a new color, when you're on that Alliance color.
Okay.
My one we just measured is 57.5 inches. So like right around 57 to 60 inches is what a pool noodle is.
Okay.
All right, have any other robot questions before we move into like team management type?
We have gotten extra drive motors for our robot, and I see that a lot of teams use 2 motors on each side. Is a good idea, a bad idea?
Yeah, I would say for every rookie that, is on off, apps put 2 sims at minimum on your drivetrain. Do try to drive it just with 1 sim on each side. Because a lot of other teams are going to have at least 2. Some teams have even made drivetrains that have upwards of 6 on a drive instead of 4. So definitely add the other 2. Go ahead.
Some are motors. What's the difference? What's a sim and what's a motor?
Well, a sim is a specific motor. So I would ensure that on your tough box that you have 2 sims on each side.
For the black ones, black motors.
So had the kids put on 2 to make it quicker at the quick build is all then. One on.
Yeah, I'll be honest. We were lazy. We just wanted to put on just to get you up and running because less wiring, less mechanical, less everything else, and like I said, guys, get up and running operation.
And for what you build at our workshop, you don't need more motor than that to drive it. But once you start adding more weight and more functions, you need more motors.
And make sure you're testing your robot with weight on it.
You didn't use other motor controllers too. You don't drive 2 motors off 1 motor control.
Correct.
One of those drive things.
Yes. Yep. All rookies should have gotten 4 sparks in their kit. So you at least have the 4 speed controllers to drive those 4 motors on your drivetrain. But you need additional speed controllers for intakes, climbers, anything else you might build. Every motor, for the most part, can have its own speed controller. There's a couple of it's not true. It's rules, but most of the motors you're going to use, they all have their own independent speed controller.
Same one, same kind for all.
You don't have to. Usually teams pick what speed controllers they like, and they try to inventory and get more of those speed controllers. That way, if you had to, fix something like that, you could replace it with another one. So your inventory that you're building, is building on each other. We like the Talon SRXs. We can use CAN communication. Another option that you can use is the Victor SPs. Those are similar to the Sucks. So like I said, there's a lot of different speed controllers out there. It's a matter of what controller that works for your team and what you need to have done. But you do get the 4 in the kit. I wouldn't, really go out and buy, 4 SPs to replace the Sparks because, hey, you already have them. They're free. Don't buy extra just to replace those ones. But if you do determine which ones you're going to buy in the future, try to stick maybe with one kind and get an inventory built up. Because every year, sometimes they get different speed controllers. So last year, all the teams got Victor SPs. This year got Sparks. So whoever gives the most money to determine who gets those pieces.
Other robot questions before we move into PR stuff?
Did you see anything interesting in the updates? I didn't really see anything an update that was
there was something
mind blowing.
It wasn't. Oh yeah. I don't think it was mind blowing. It was just unique. Probably more for veteran teams. I guess now the ranking points are displayed based on average. So past your ranking points were a sum of all your ranking points. Now it looks like they're going to take your ranking points total and divide by the number of matches you've played, it's gonna come out to never be greater than 4. I don't know why they're doing this, but it's just a different way of displaying it. Like I said, more people found that interesting. I'll do the update real quick on my phone while we're talking, and then see if I can see any other stuff to bring up. Okay.
Okay.
Arm's doing that for the last 15 minutes. We got a few just kind of team management things that'll try to make your life a little bit easier so you're not scrambling at the last minute. By now, you should have your team name and your team logo pretty much solidified. You start looking into ordering team uniforms. Teams do this differently. Some teams just order like 100 smalls, 100 mediums, 100 larges, 100 extra larges, and then they have shirt boxes, and the kids take a couple shirts, the parents buy shirts, whatever they do. On our team, we choose to ask all the students what their shirt sizes are. We choose to put an order out to all of our mentors and put an order out to all of our parents. Because mentors and your parents are like your biggest fans, right? You want them to be in the stands in your team shirts, just like when you go to a football game or a basketball game or a hockey game, the fans are wearing the shirts of the teams that they're supporting. Our team, we choose to just open up our team uniform and they can order any shirts that they want to. We get all of our shirts from Flint City T-shirts in downtown Flint. It's a local business that is school organizations and robotics teams a 10% discount off the top, and they include artwork in their pricing, and they charge per screen. So we do different shirt on Thursday, different shirt on Friday, different shirt on Saturday, but they use the same screen, so they charge us that as one screening, so our per unit price goes down really, really fast. We used to have a red shirt on Thursday, a black shirt on T-shirt on Friday, and the dress shirt on Saturday, pure for the fact that I want to know my kids are wearing clean shirts. We have some friends on other teams, and we've actually been on other teams where 3-day competition, the kids get one shirt. I don't know about you guys, but at the end of the day, sometimes of one day, a boy is stinky enough, let alone them wearing a shirt for 3 days without washing it, because you know that they won't. That's why we choose to do 3 different shirts on 3 different days. Jason, talk about your team uniforms and then fan shirts or whatever you guys call them.
We do 2 shirts per student normally. We do colors, that's a really good idea to make sure that they actually change them. We normally will wear gold shirts on Friday, gold shirts on Saturday, and then we'll sometimes have another different team style shirt that we wear on Thursday, like one of the districts that Thursday night. For parents, we usually do a spirit wear order. They'll get shirts similar to the team shirts, except they won't have the sponsors listed on the back of the shirt. The parents use that shirt year over year and not have to worry about getting a new shirt every year just because the sponsor list on the back changed. So we normally do.
So Team 2337, we also we have a base fee to your team, and that pays for their expenses to be on the team, like travel and food and uniform and all that stuff. So our students pay for their uniform, but it comes out of their the fee that they pay. So our students receive 2 T-shirts, a dress shirt, a hooded sweatshirt, and they keep all of it at the end of the year. Jason, you want to talk about what you guys give them, they have to return, and what they have to keep?
The students are given 2 T-shirts a season. We have like warm-up uniforms, so track pants and jackets. Those need to be returned at the end of the year, and one of your T-shirts need to be returned at the end of the year. So each student gets to keep one shirt, and then the extra or the secondary T-shirt come back to the team. For new students that come in the next year, we'll have extra shirts. Or times for those for sale, the parents can purchase them at the end of the year if they want to keep 2 of the same T-shirts. Another thing, I don't know if it's too early to mention this, but something that's been done that we haven't done before, probably the last 4 or 5 years. Some students will trade shirts at competitions. Usually, we tell students that they can't trade shirts until Worlds or until the season's over. But there are some teams that will exchange T-shirts. So some of the students like to buy their extra T-shirt or buy even more shirts so they can have T-shirts to trade states or Worlds. Get shirts from other teams.
Our team is you must keep a current year's uniform. You must have the 2017 black, red, mechanic, and hoodie sweatshirt to keep of your own. Others can trade whatever you want. So if you have old shirts or you buy more shirts or whatever you want to do, there's our students wearing a current uniform. We don't care what they do. Buddying is huge. Clinton, last I counted, had almost 150 shirts from different teams. So I'm a big collector of this. If you get into the robot space, it's a very laid-back place. Clinton actually wears pretty much a different team T-shirt almost every day. So big thing in the community, so that may be something that you guys want to think about doing for your students. So you guys have questions about uniforms before we go into awards?
A technical question. You said you get T-shirts made with one screen. Is that multicolor or one color? And how much are these T-shirts costing you? Just give me a rough idea. Yeah.
Well, and you have a little bit smaller team than us. So we usually order about 900 T-shirts at a time. So our price point lowers. I mean, the higher quality quantity you order, the lower that it gets. We are usually between $8 per shirt. That's usually a color front and one color back. That's 3 screens technically per. But on our Thursday and Friday shirt, we do the same logo, but it's an inverse color, so they use that screen twice. Then we do the same back on our Thursday and Friday shirt with all of our sponsors on it, so they use that screen twice. And then our mechanic shirt, on the back of our mechanic shirt, it's the logo that's on the front of our other shirts, so they use that screen again, so that makes it cheaper. And hooded sweatshirt, we always do game-specific here. That's our choice to do because venues can get really, really cold. I discovered the first couple of years that we had our team that it didn't do us any good to have team T-shirts because everybody was wearing a hooded sweatshirt over the top because they were cold and you couldn't see the team shirts anyway. So we're including a team shirt as part of our team uniform. So, like I said, our T-shirts usually run between $6 and $8 per shirt, depending on how many we order. Our mechanic shirt runs, I think, about $16. We choose a really high quality. We actually get a Dickies brand work shirt. We have order them in special for us. And so that one's a little bit more expensive. So the short sleeve work shirt, like the one Clint was wearing at our workshop, looks like we call it a mechanic shirt. It's like a work shirt. Short, it has pockets, like what mechanics wear. Usually has like their name sewn on a patch on the front.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep.
And
Shop
then
shirts,
also gets a hooded sweatshirt. Yeah, shop shirt. We call it mechanic shirt. Yeah.
And we pay for
our
hoodie.
Usually run, like I said, depending on how many we order, between $18 and $21 per student. So we usually budget about $50 to $55 per student for them to get for sure.
Okay, appreciate that.
It all depends. Like I said, we get cheaper because we order more. So, most places are really good about negotiating prices down also. So, just based on the last couple of years. So the last couple things that I want to talk about are 3 awards that you guys want to start considering, and you're probably going to want to start working on now. One of them is Dean's List Award. Coaches, the primary and secondary coaches, have the opportunity to nominate 1 or 2 students that are either sophomores or juniors on your team for a leadership award. And the criteria is listed in the notes, and I've also included a link to the more description and the award criteria and stuff in the notes. But I wanted to bring it to your attention. It's called the Dean's List Award, and it is due February 16th. So less than a month it's due. So you guys need to be aware of this. This is something that you mentors must write. You a different mentor on your team write it, but it cannot be student written. It can be student submitted. It must be written by mentors or your 2 students on your team. So that's to look into. But quicker approaching is an award that your students have to write and the students have to submit, and it's called Woody Flowers Award. Basically, it's an award that your students nominate one mentor on your team for, and it celebrates effective communication in the art of science and engineering and design. Usually, Kyle Hughes, who has been our call from Team Rush, is National Woody Flowers Award winner. And I'm sure that if she were here, she would probably attest to you what an honor it is to win something like that. I know that the nerds have nominated both Clinton and I for this award. Neither of us have won it, but I know it meant so much, at least to me, that our students took the time of their day to write an essay and to nominate us for this award. Clinton, I don't know if you have anything to add.
It's a great honor. I've been nominated once, and it's, I guess I speak for Kyle directly, but it's very impactful. It's very recognized and become a celebrity in the first world when you win the Woody Flowers Award. So it's a very prestigious award, and it's not that the students recognize the effort that you've put in.
Students on our team choose to keep it a secret who they're nominating. They all conspire together and write this essay and then submit it. And at your first district competition, or maybe it's your home district, I can't remember which one, they put up a list of all of the Woody Flowers Award nominees, and they get to stand up and everybody claps for them. That's what our team chooses to do. I will include again all of the information in the notes about this. So this is something you want to make your students aware of. This is not something that you have to apply for. And again, the Dean's List Award is not something that you have to apply for. But we do make you guys aware that these things are out there in case your team can apply for them. And if they can do it, they should. Last one, I kind of want to go ahead.
Well, Dean's List Award was February 16th. The Dean's List Award was February 16th for sophomores, juniors, seniors. Who was that for again?
Nope, just sophomores and
all
juniors.
3?
Just sophomores and juniors.
Just sophomores and juniors? No. Okay, Flowers Award is due when?
February 9th. So right in the corner here.
Okay. Thank
One
you.
of the things with the
And
Dean's
the
List Award, to be sophomores and juniors is it's a deal for your college applications, for the students' college applications. So if we had, see, that was 2014, we had a student from our team win it at the national level. And again, it's really good on your college application. But in addition to that, he got a whole bunch of prizes, and he got a trip to go to Dean Kamen's house in New Hampshire. So they really have made it a nice prize for students on the team. I remember off the top of my head how many they get out a year.
Opportunities too.
I want 20 a year. Does that sound right? That's
10 FTC and 10 FRC, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
What happens is at the district level, you get nominated and you do an interview. And at the state championships, they choose 10 from Michigan to go to compete for the national level. And the national level from all of the districts, all of the championships, all of the regionals, they choose 10 winners. I mean, it's a rigorous process, and like Team Russia said, they've had one winner, and one of the teams that we help out, used to work at the robot space, Alyssa Garcia from Team 1684 in Lapeer. She won last year, so, or 2 years ago. So it's definitely one of those far-fetched things. So definitely don't say you're a rookie team and you're never going to win.
Picked?
So there's the scholastic portion. Yeah. So the scholastic portion or scholarship, you have to have a good GA. Randy said there's a rubric. They look a lot at what the student does for their robotics team, along with what the student does for their school and community. So the person that won for us, was involved on our team, was a captain of our team, also was the president of the Optimist Club, and did a bunch of outside extracurricular activities besides first to the community. So that's what helped bump toward the top. Few portion helps. If you're good at interviewing.
They have to be able to interview well. They have to. Like, I had lots of students who get nominated for this award, and the judges tell us, like, anybody who's super smart and really great at first in this room with us, but they couldn't answer a single question. So that also. So the last award I want to touch on really quick is the Key All-Star Award. I don't really want to get into this a lot because if you go through and read the materials that I'm going to suggest for you, it will answer a lot of your questions. Basically, the Rookie All-Star Award is for the team who is a rookie team, but if you didn't know they were a rookie, you wouldn't know they're a rookie, right? They have a good-looking team with they're well-organized, their rookie performs pretty well, they look like a veteran team, but they're a rookie. Okay. So I'm going to give you some literature to read on that, but I wanted you guys to observe it because there's no formal submission process for the Rookie All-Star Award. This is just more about how can you guys develop yourself or build season and document and put yourself out in the first community as a rookie team to help win this award. Winning this award at a district requires you to apply for this award at the state championship. And for Michigan State Championship, will be one rookie all-star who automatically qualifies for the World Championship. So it can be your ticket to the World Championship if you're successful at this award. So take a few minutes and read the literature we'll include in the. So last questions. We're a few minutes over our time, so any last questions, we'll go ahead and answer them.
Real quick, the update stuff that came out, the pilots they said the pilots are not allowed to cut any part of a deployed rope. So if you let your rope go to swing down and it doesn't fall all the way down, it gets caught on itself, it gets caught on a knot, a loop or something, the pilot's not allowed to touch that because of a safety issue. And the rope must be flexible enough so that it is not capable of pushing the activation touchpad. So you can't have this rigid rope that you push up to touch the touch. You actually have to climb it. And then the last thing was they added the word non-metallic fibers sewn. So you can have things that are sewn. But those are the updates.
Very cool. All right, Wayne, any more questions? And did anybody else join on the line besides Dan and Wayne that sign in with Jason?
Doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look. I do have one question. What was it? I'm trying to remember what it was now. I lost track.
Well, you can send us an email if you.
Yeah, it was something we were talking. It was something. What were we talking about just before a second ago?
Award.
Award or the Ricky Award?
The awards. I thought something was mentioned. Oh, the updates. Is it still going to be? As far as we know, it's still going to be legal to pick on the rope and pull the gear out of the robot.
See now, I would say yes. It seems all the question and answer rules they are allowing that. Anything different, Clint? Hey, Clint, did you see anything different?
I hear the question.
Like from if you can actively use the gear puller upper thing to pull a gear out of your robot. It's just
there's
in
no
the rules that they are encouraging you to do that, right?
There's no rule against it. You can lift the gear out of the robot, even the robot is still touching the gear. There is no rule saying that you cannot do that.
Okay, thank you.
But
all right.
Make sure that you actually the thing is Andy Mark's supposed to have a available on the 24th. Maybe get a spring and test it, because I have a feeling people are going to events and it's not going to work the way I thought it was going to work. It's not a rod sticking out there made of wood. It's a spring. So if you pull it up too fast, too slow, too quickly, it's out of it. It's not all the way at the back of it. It might react differently than you expect. So test.
Or if you guys have any other questions, you can feel free to email us. All of our emails are included with the notes. And other than that, we wish you success this week.
Okay, very much.